all about celebrating the flavors, the health, and the beauty of live fermented foods. We started spontaneously about a year and a half ago, a bunch of people that love fermented food, and we said, let's do a festival. And we organized the first Boston Fermentation Festival last September. And in the time in between then and now, we've grown and we've fermented and we've changed and we've organized. And we've done a lot of different events in the last year, like fermentation-themed dinners. We've done a lot of kraut mobs on the street. We've taught a lot of people and inspired people around fermentation, leading up to the Fermentation Festival today. So that's a nice mix of fermenters. We have a lot of farmers who provide the raw materials for fermented foods. We have a lot of alcohol vendors, people who make mead, kombucha, cider, beer, and they're all making really fermentation-forward drinks. So really drinks that profile the microbes that ferment the alcohol itself.
It's made with raw honey from warm colors apiary.
We also have a number of vegetable fermenters. So we have sauerkraut makers, picklers, we have cheese makers, we have some bread people, and a nice mix of people that cultivate microbes to explore fermentation and have delicious foods.
Your sauerkraut is perfect, not too salty.
It tastes okay, but it smells really good.
We're making sauerkraut. It's a kraut mob table. So basically we're just inviting all the guests at the Boston Fermentation Festival to come and try their hand at sauerkraut. It's one of the most approachable ferments that you can try if you're a beginner. So we're using cabbage, which was donated by Whole Foods in Jamaica Plains, just have to say that, and then carrots, garlic, and apples today. Most people haven't tried any kind of ferment at home, and then they realize how simple it is because it's so approachable, and they get to leave with their own sauerkraut and watch it do its thing in the next couple of weeks. The bacteria, the lactobacillus bacteria in the cabbage will start to ferment, and in a couple of weeks it'll become sauerkraut.
I was just making sauerkraut with my 4-year-old and letting him work his hands through the cabbage, and it's just fun. I'm here because I wanted to come and celebrate all things fermented. I'm a big fan of the natural process of fermentation and enjoying foods and having them be preserved from one season to the next.
I have 2 books. The Art of Fermentation is my most recent book. They came out in 2012, and Wild Fermentation, they came out in 2003. What fermentation is the transformative action of microorganisms, and it's used to make lots of different types of foods. One important application of fermentation is preserving foods, through the production of acids, lactic acid, acetic acid. The operative concepts for practicing fermentation is understanding what kind of environment you're trying to create so as to encourage the growth of certain kinds of organisms and simultaneously discourage the growth of other types of organisms. Fermentation is practiced in every part of the world, and it's a really essential part of every culinary tradition. But over the course of a couple of generations, many people have become afraid of fermentation and assume that you need a degree in microbiology, you need a laboratory, you need a microscope, when in fact, the people who figured out these processes all around the world, they didn't know about bacteria, they didn't have microscopes, they didn't have laboratories. This has just been part of the traditions passed down from generation to generation in cultures all around the world of how to work with food in practical ways. You don't need to go to a fancy food store to enjoy fermented foods. They're really easy, and anyone with the determination can learn how to do these, even in a small urban kitchen.
I'm volunteering here because when I was in Pennsylvania, I was living on a farming community, and we lived pretty much off the land. So canning and fermenting became a way of life, especially in the winter when we weren't having a huge harvest. So I got super into it and just noticed that I was feeling so much better. Especially the live cultures in the sauerkraut was just made a giant change in my life. So when I moved up here, I just wanted to meet my tribe and kind of get in contact with people that were into this kind of thing. And I Googled it and found this festival and signed up. now I'm here. It's just super easy to do, and it's fun. It's interactive. You're fostering something that will eventually, like, it's alive, and you're eating something that's alive, and it's like, if you're eating yogurt, it's the same thing, but this is more fun, and you can cook with it. You have more culinary options. It's just a new thing to try.
This is kohlrabi. I have tried some very interesting radish sauerkraut, and I've tried different varieties of sauerkraut. I had a Polish one, I had a Swedish one, I had a plain one. I haven't had pickles today. Oh, I did have pickles, and I tried some cheese. This is a really wonderful festival, really good quality stuff. It's really exciting how fermentation has caught on.
Are you selling the apple bourbon in a cup? Yeah, we are actually. Can I have a couple? Sure you can.
We're serving a couple of our beers, a really special one that is very appropriate for a fermentation festival, a beer that we made with all yeast that we cultured from a Vermont farmstead. It's kind of the way that we do mostly farmhouse and some abbey-style beers, and that's the tradition they have in Belgium we're trying to revive here. And a lot of it was getting their own yeast cultures going, so that's what we specialize in. We came to today's fest because this particular area gets our beer more than probably any in the state, and we love coming down here and doing anything with our beer.
So what happens is the fungus will colonize something, and once it's colonized everything and it like runs out of nutrient or places to go, it goes, I gotta reproduce now.
The grow at home kits are really pretty easy. The lion's mane is as easy as a chia pet. You poke holes in it, fold the bag down and spray it with water every day, and it just crawls right out the bag. And the shiitake kit's just a little bit harder, but not much. You just have to convince it that it's springtime, the same way you would with shocking a bulb to flower. You dump it in a bucket full of ice water, stick it in the trunk of your car, and then put it on your counter and spray it a couple times a day, and you'll have a pound of shiitakes in about 2 weeks.
And these are all for eating?
Yes, all for eating. And and most mushrooms, with the exception of the little white ones you buy at the store, have a ton of medicinal properties to them.
Starting with the shiitake, they've been researched a lot for their antioxidant abilities and their anti-cancer properties. The oyster mushrooms are known throughout the world for general immune support, and some third world countries see them as the cure for the common cold. The lion's mane mushroom is really, really pretty neat. It's been researched a lot for Alzheimer's, fibromyalgia, MS. It actually has compounds in it that are some of the only things naturally known to man to help stimulate nerve growth factors and remyelinate nerves. In Japan, they eat a lot of fish and a lot of mushrooms, but they don't seem to have any kind of mercury or cancer ramifications from eating the amount of fish they do. And it's because when you eat shiitake mushrooms, it actually allows the harmful chemicals, the harmful parts of the mercury to bind with a chemical in the shiitake mushroom and allows it to pass through your system without actually affecting you.
Whitney!
a bunch of friends. We started the food truck about 2 years ago, and it was one of our good friends who is a chef, and we just want to support him. And Boston at that time doesn't have that many food trucks yet, so we decided it's a great opportunity to put Asian street food in Boston. That's why we had the idea and came up with the fugu truck. We have a bibimbap, which is a traditional Korean dish. It basically means mixed rice, and then we have a pork bun. This is our signature dish. We have 3 different sauces, and classic, cha siu, and spicy mayo. And we also have soma, so it's like a cold noodle. Sesame flavor, so it's really delicious for the hot summer, I guess. And there's also the ramen. It's more for the winter, but we want to prepare for either hot or cold weather. The last year we did this events as well, and there's a lot of positive feedback, so we want to come back and support the community. And there's a lot of great vendors here, so we want to be here and give out our food to the people. During the week, we're usually Monday near Copley, and that's a big busy spot. And Wednesday, we're at a commercial building. It's near Watertown area, and then there are other places depending on the time of the day and stuff like that. Usually, we're doing lunch, and Friday we're at near the financial district, and then Sunday we're at a SOA. So there's different areas.
All the produce that we sell at this market is grown right in Roxbury. It's 2 miles away from here. It's all grown organically. You can't get fresher than that. It's picked the day before it comes here. So we're a food justice organization based in Roxbury, Dorchester. We've been around for 25 years and been in the neighborhood for almost 20 years. We have a 2.5-acre farm and a big greenhouse right in that neighborhood, and we use that for bringing food to the Dudley neighborhood as well as to markets like this. Are all around Boston, and we also have a youth program in the summer and year-round that takes youth from all over the city, including right in that neighborhood, where they come on the farm and they learn about food production, they learn about the food systems as well as social justice issues, and take that education back into their schools, back into their neighborhoods. We're really trying to change the food systems in Boston and in the country to make it a better place for land and for people. We've been at this market for 2 or 3 years, and yeah, there's 2 farmers who've been here the longest, so we're one of them.
That's the whole idea of our farm, to be as all natural as possible and to sell as close as home to possible. We do believe in buying local. That's a very important thing to us. At our stand, we are known for our garlic. We grow 40 types of garlic, and depending on what your recipe is, you might want to pick a different garlic. We actually have something that we encourage people to cook. It's called a garlic cheesecake. And with that, we suggest a music garlic because it sweetens as you cook it. It's awesome. We also sell super hot peppers like the ghost pepper, the scorpion, and the Carolina Reaper. It's very challenging with the ghost peppers and the scorpions. You got to have the taste for it, the pain tolerance for that sort of thing. Throw it right in the scale there.
Welcome to our pickle-off. We've asked 10 picklers assembled behind me with mega pickling power to step up to the ultimate challenge. And we've asked them to prepare a secret and a special pickle for today's event. The directions were simple. We basically asked them that their pickle must be saltwater brined and that it must involve cucumbers in some way. Those are the only 2 things we asked them, okay? That would make it a true lactic acid traditional pickle. And our goal today is really to stretch your definition, all of our definition, of what a pickle can be. And we're here, of course, to award Boston's top pickler. Welcome to Grind. This is the Real Pickles Pickle-Off Super Reality Show. You are going to taste the pickles, and in your minds, you're going to rate them at the same time that our professional judges are going to rate them, and they're going to talk about it, okay? After all the pickles have been tasted, you're going to score your top 2 pickles.
This is just a basic sourdough pickle. It's a garlic pickle, I guess. Very simple.
All right. So this is number one. So everyone, please taste pickle number one on your plate.
It's a great pickle. It's got a nice bite to it. It's nice and salty, a little sour.
Yeah, I haven't met too many pickles that I didn't like, which is why it's so strange to me to be a judge. So, we'll see after I've tasted 10.
Yeah, so we have two different awards that we're giving. We're giving the People's Pickle Awards and the Pro Picklers Award. And both of them, they will receive a handmade pickle trophy by Stony Brook Fine Arts Center. So let's first start with the People's Choice Pickle Award.
So the votes were really scattered all over the place. There were two who were fairly close, but the votes were really all over the place. You guys love some pickles, you guys love some diverse pickles, so good for you guys. Yes. Anyway, so I'll start with our second place. So our second place People's Pickle Award goes to pickle number 4, which is Rebecca Hutton from Alchemy Pickle Company. Very well deserved. She came a long way to be here. All right, and then our first place People's Pickle Award, which let me make sure I'm giving the right one here. There we go. Goes to pickle number 9, which is Lisa Edge from Tracy's Garden. Very well done. And then we have our Pro Picklers Award.
Our first prize goes to the Brinery, number 6.
I actually didn't think I was going to win, so winning felt very good. I'm really glad I came. This is the best thing I ever got in my whole life, and I'm just so excited because I made a special batch of cucumber kimchi for the event, but it turned kind of mushy, so I didn't bring it, and I actually brought one of our just most traditional off-the-shelf pickles. Are called Dilly Dally pickles, and there's, it's just the most basic cucumber pickle that we make, and I'm really glad to see that a classic always rings true. I'm a farmer by trade, and so fermentation is one of the most ancient methods of food preservation. It's just being a shepherd of the bacteria, and it's our ancestors figured out how to do it, and it's why we're alive today, is because our ancestors figured out how to preserve food.